Morning, everyone. Welcome to Moxi Monday on Monday, December 9th, 2024. We are going to be talking about Moxi websites today, but not necessarily any tips or tricks, but kind of the changes that are occurring when it comes to our Moxi websites. So they did announce last week that Moxi websites are going to be migrating over to the Amazon servers, which is fantastic for us because that just means that there will be faster load times, there'll be less downtime. We all know everything about Amazon servers are the best of the best, and Moxi has made the decision to migrate over to those servers for our websites. However, there is a transitional period right now where the sites are migrating. If you go into your website wizard here at the top of your screen, it may or may not load. I was actually surprised to see it loaded. It's supposed to be down until the 11th. So if you're looking to make changes on your website and you go there and it gives you an error, that's okay. It's just part of the transition. However, if you go there and you see that your website wizard does come up, all we ask is that you make sure you click publish before you get out of the website wizard, because if you don't click publish and during some of this transitional time, you may lose your changes. So if you are able to get it to load, like you see just loaded here, you can go ahead and make changes. Just make sure that you're clicking publish every time you change something. Or if you are saving a draft, it may not be there when you go back during this transitional time. So let's talk about what other things that we may have to run into here in the coming weeks. So as we mentioned, from December 2nd through the 11th, the website wizard should be down. Can't create new websites, not going to be able to go in and update websites. It does look like maybe they're ahead of schedule, which is great news because some people are getting into their website wizard. But again, if you are in there making changes, just make sure you hit that all important publish button, or you may lose your information. Even if your website wizard is still down through the 11th, you can still add in the buyer compensation on Moxi websites by going into your Moxi agent tools and listings, and then adding it to your listing. So that functionality is still there. 24 hours, it'll populate on the live websites. So we never lost that functionality. Definitely it'll be back. If you're unable to add something, just wait that 24-hour period and it should show up. And as we already mentioned, not able to create new websites. Now, the good news is it's the 9th. Some websites are working already. The 11th is just 2 days away. So we should all be back up and running for our Moxi websites shortly. So if you are having issues, do know it's a known issue. They're working on the migration. It's nothing wrong. You don't have to reach out to the help desk or anything. Just wait till the 11th and it'll be back. Now, after the 11th, if you're unable to get into your website wizard, if you're unable to create a new website, if you're working with a new agent, definitely reach out to myself or the help desk, because at that point after the 11th, there may be an issue. Now, from December 16th through January 31st, so a whole month and a half, we do have to update DNS settings for anybody operating a vanity URL. So what that means is if you went to GoDaddy, if you went to Google Domains and you purchased iselltraversity.com and you're using that to go to your Moxi sites, that's a vanity URL. Your DNS settings will have to be updated. If you remember when you first launched that website, you did have to go into your provider, whether it be GoDaddy, Google Domains. There's a multitude of other ones. Those are the two popular ones. And you did have to update your DNS settings. Now, if you had your vanity URL with us prior to when we merged with Anywhere Moxi, you then had to do that then as well. So you've had to do this a couple different times. We're going to have to ask you to do it again. Now, the good news is when you log into Moxi and you go to your website wizard, it's going to have a box that pops up. It's going to show you exactly what to do, what your new settings need to be. You'll be able to go then to GoDaddy or Google Domains and update those DNS settings. So you'll see that right here, a notification alerting the users of the change will appear in Moxi on December 16th. Now, if you're operating a Moxi website and you haven't purchased a vanity domain, so you're doing carry-scomp.cbgreatlakes.com, that's a Moxi URL, there's no action. You will have absolutely nothing that you need to do. It's only for those that are operating that vanity URL. So it's usually 2 different DNS settings. And again, they'll have the instructions clearly placed in Moxi after December 16th. And then you'll have all the way through the end of January before you have to make those updates. Nothing will happen with your website until after January 31st. And if you haven't changed your DNS settings by January 31st, then you may notice that the functionality has disappeared. Doesn't mean we can't get it back. We can always work with the help desk and get it back, but we really are asking that you go ahead and log into Moxi after December 16th, pull down your instructions, go into your vanity URL where you purchased your domain, and get those DNS settings updated. Now, I don't exactly have instructions yet because we don't know what those new DNS settings will be. The Moxi support team will provide those to us after December 16th. But that will allow your vanity URL to point to the new Amazon servers so that your website, again, loads faster, has a lot less downtime, and just has better functionality because it has the power of the Amazon web servers behind it. So again, if you log into Moxi today and you want to go to your website wizard at the top, it may or may not load. We know that the functionality might not be there through the 11th. After the 11th, it absolutely should load for you. You should be able to make any and all changes. You should be able to create new websites for new agents and be able to use the functionality as normal. Now, if you have that vanity URL, you do have to update your DNS settings. If you're not sure if you have a vanity URL, you're not really sure what you've been advertising, if you want to go into your website and go into settings and go into personal domain, this is going to tell you exactly what you're operating, which URL you're using. And then when you log into Moxi after December 16th, it's going to automatically populate and ask you to change those DNS settings. So right here is going to be your list of domains. So whether you started with one in Moxi, maybe updated at a later date, maybe you had a vanity URL, you'll see which one is primary. All of that is going to be able to tell you what you have been operating in Moxi. But again, you may or may not be able to get into the website wizard until after the 11th. And then once you pop in there after the 16th, it's going to pull up a box. It's going to have all of the new settings that you need. It's going to be able to take you to help desk articles for GoDaddy, for Google domains, some of the other main players there, depending on where you purchased your URL. And again, you have all the way through January 31st before you have to make those changes and before you lose functionality of your websites. But if you don't update those prior to January 31st, you will lose functionality to your websites. So that's the information I wanted to share with you guys today. Again, we're kind of in that transitional phase. Website Wizard might work, Website Wizard might not work. But knowing that as of this, starting on the 16th, we will have to have our DNS settings updated. So I'll go ahead and pause and see if we have any questions. All right, well, I don't see any questions that have come in. Look for more information. Like I mentioned, if you can't get in today, no action to take. If you can't get into Website Wizards after the 11th, please reach out. And then look for those DNS settings to be updated between December 16th and January 31st. Thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate it. Bye now.